Most people see Bitcoin as just another risky investment, something volatile, speculative, and driven by hype. But many long-term Bitcoin investors think about it in a completely different way. They're not just focused on short-term price movements. They're thinking about inflation, government debt, currency devaluation, digital ownership, and the future of the global financial system itself. Whether you agree with them or not, their perspective is often much bigger than simply getting rich quick. Today we will talk about Bitcoin investors are thinking bigger than you, so before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. 10. Most people think Bitcoin investors only care about getting rich fast. When many people hear about Bitcoin, they immediately think about speculation, price spikes, internet hype, or overnight millionaires. They imagine risky traders staring at charts all day hoping prices explode higher. And while some people absolutely approach Bitcoin that way, long-term Bitcoin investors often think very differently. For many of them, Bitcoin is not just about making quick profits. It represents a completely different way of thinking about money, ownership, inflation, and the future of financial systems. This is why Bitcoin attracts such passionate supporters. The strongest believers are usually not focused only on price. They are focused on what Bitcoin represents in a world where trust in traditional financial systems is slowly changing. 9. Bitcoin investors think about money as a system. Not just currency, most people use money every day without questioning how the monetary system actually works. They earn income, store savings in banks, and assume currencies will always maintain reasonable value over time. Bitcoin investors tend to think more deeply about the structure behind money itself. 8. Scarcity is one of Bitcoin's biggest psychological attractions. One of Bitcoin's defining features is limited supply. Unlike traditional currencies, which governments and central banks can expand, Bitcoin has a fixed maximum supply programmed into its system. For many investors, this scarcity matters deeply. They compare it to digital ownership in a world where traditional money can continuously lose purchasing power through inflation. Whether people fully agree with Bitcoin or not, the idea of owning something mathematically limited creates strong psychological appeal. 7. Bitcoin investors often distrust traditional financial systems. Another major reason people become deeply involved in Bitcoin is growing skepticism toward banks, debt systems, inflation, and centralized financial control. After financial crises, rising national debt, inflationary periods, and economic instability, many people began questioning whether traditional systems always protect ordinary savers effectively. Bitcoin supporters often see decentralized systems as alternatives to structures they believe increasingly favor governments, institutions, or large financial players. 6. Volatility doesn't scare long-term believers the same way. One thing that surprises outsiders is how comfortable many long-term Bitcoin investors become with volatility. Massive price swings that would terrify ordinary investors are often viewed as normal inside the crypto world. This happens because long-term believers are focused on adoption and future potential rather than daily price movement. They see short-term crashes as temporary noise inside what they believe is a much larger long-term transformation. Whether that belief ultimately proves fully correct or not, the mindset itself is important. Bitcoin investors often think in decades, not weeks. 5. Younger generations view wealth differently than previous generations. Bitcoin's rise is closely connected to generational frustration. Many younger people feel locked out of traditional wealth-building systems, like affordable housing or stable asset ownership. Rising living costs, inflation, debt, and slower financial mobility changed how younger generations think about money. For some, Bitcoin represents opportunity outside traditional systems that feel increasingly difficult to access. It feels global, digital, independent, and open to anyone with internet access. 4. Bitcoin investors think globally, not locally. Traditional investing often feels tied to national economies, local markets, or regional financial systems. Bitcoin investors tend to think more globally. Bitcoin operates 24/7 across borders without depending on one government or economy. This global mindset creates a different perspective on finance. Bitcoin supporters often see the world as increasingly digital, decentralized, and internationally connected. They believe future financial systems may become less dependent on traditional national boundaries over time. Again, whether someone fully agrees or disagrees with this vision, the scale of thinking is very different from ordinary investing conversations. 3. Many Bitcoin investors care more about ownership than consumption. One reason Bitcoin culture feels different is because many supporters emphasize ownership heavily. Instead of measuring wealth through visible consumption, they focus on accumulating scarce digital assets for the long term. This creates a mindset closer to long-term asset accumulation than short-term lifestyle spending. Some Bitcoin investors are willing to tolerate extreme volatility because they believe long-term ownership matters more than temporary comfort. The psychology resembles early-stage believers in a system they think could become far more important later. 2. The real bet is not just on Bitcoin. It's on the future of digital systems. Many outsiders think Bitcoin investors are only betting on price appreciation. But deeper believers are often making a much broader bet. They believe the world itself is becoming increasingly digital, decentralized, and less dependent on traditional financial structures. To them, Bitcoin represents part of a larger technological and economic shift involving digital ownership, blockchain systems, and alternative forms of storing value. This is why conversations around Bitcoin often become philosophical instead of purely financial. The debate is ultimately about what the future of money may look like. 1. The real reason Bitcoin investors think bigger, they're thinking about financial power, not just profit. The deepest difference is that serious Bitcoin investors often think beyond short-term gains entirely. They are thinking about control, scarcity, inflation, digital ownership, financial independence, and how money itself may evolve over the next several decades. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.